Yes, ma'am. Virtual and in person. Good to see you. Hear you. I'm ready to go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Craig Ross, and I'm the president and CEO of Macon-Bibb for
Hey, Craig.
what a crack. This morning, I didn't think we would be having this here, but Lord was good to us. So, welcome, and before I turn it over to the mayor, there's a couple of things I wanted to say about this park. Several months ago, Jamie came barreling into my office because she only knows one speed. And that's a compliment, Jamie. It's either fast or faster. And she said, Craig, can I have a piece of the land over on the other side of the property? I said, what piece of land? I was not thinking of this. And she said, well, just a little bit of that property that we own. She said, I want to build a park. I said, Jamie, we're transit. And she looked at me and she said, it would really be nice. And let me tell you, when Jamie said it's going to be nice, it's going to be better than nice, okay? So I said, there's only one problem. And she said, what's that? I said, there's nowhere in our budget that calls for money for a park. So you raise the money, you can build a park. She did, and we did. So it's a pleasure. Thank you, Jamie, for this. It's better than my expectations. I knew it was going to be great. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. And right now, I'm going to introduce our mayor, Lester Miller.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County, and certainly it's a great day to be here. And you know where here is? The spirit of Macon Park. Something I know that we all love, enjoy, and it's why everybody showed up today. You know, I see a lot of red on today, and I know one day I'll reach the age when I'll get that card in my mail, AARP. Probably another 10 years out, and I know I'll get that soon. And when I get that card, I'll realize all the wonderful things they do for our community. I know this wouldn't be possible without the participation, the help, and the collaboration with AARP. And, you know, they do a lot of great things in our community. We love our seniors. We love the people who work with them. Of course, thank you, Ms. Haversham, personally. That's the good Haversham, I call her. The other one talks a lot more, but the good Haversham, I know, does all the work. But, you know, we're here today because we are a great community, and we have a lot of good resources, and we have a great team. And first of all, I'd like to thank our team, starting with our ladies first, which I always do. It's Ms. Donna Bryant. Thank you for being here today. Our Commissioner, Ms. Brenda Bailey, who is here today. Commissioner Raymond Wilder and Commissioner Stewart is here today, Stanley Stewart. Thank you for being here. Those of you who could not be here, I know we have some people working at City Hall now getting ready for a commission meeting tonight, and also some pensions, so they couldn't be here, but I know they're here in spirit of Macon for sure. So it's my pleasure to stand before the microphone today to thank some people, and there's a lot of people to thank, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that go after me. Jamie is one of those people that I often say when she asks you to do something, you can't say no, right? She's going to keep being very persistent about getting you to do something, getting that commitment out of you. I know that's how she attracted her husband. I know she's very persistent about things that she goes after, and she usually gets what she wants. And today is just part of that. And certainly she had a lot of help from some of my favorite partners, and those are the ones that work with me at Macon-Bibb County, Team Macon-Bibb. I see a lot of them here today. We have our Parks and Beautification here today. All their workers, as well as the Public Works, our facilities program, are here today. Their directors are sitting right here with you today. And so we want to give them a round of applause as well. And a lot of times I tell you, we get to stand behind the microphone. You may see us sometimes on TV or maybe on the news, but these are the men and women that make things happen behind the work, and we can't let that be lost on us, that somebody has to do the work. And these men and women do the work. As a matter of fact, as I drove by here not too long ago, I think it was the half marathon day, and I was so pleased because the weather was great, it was warm, and my sons were both running the marathon. They talked about how hot it was, they wish it was colder. But what did I do when I stopped at the stop sign here? I saw Jamie and everybody else working out here on this park today, not for show, not for tell, no cameras around, but they were doing the hard work. And that's what we appreciate about you and your staff, and Craig has a wonderful staff there at Macon Transit Authority. We're glad just to be a small partner of that, not just through our funding, but our also support. We love to beautify this area here, and we love to make it a safe, pedestrian, friendly place to go to, and we think it's going to be used there. And certainly, as much as I travel this road, I'm going to appreciate this park myself. So on behalf of Macon-Bibb County, the 160,000 people that I have the pleasure of representing, the 9 lovely commissioners I have the pleasure of meeting with each month, we want to let you know that we're going to be a continued partner of yours. We're going to support you where we can, where our funds allow, but we're always going to be there to support Team Macon-Bibb. Thank you and God bless, and please enjoy the spirit of Macon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
What a beautiful day. I tell you, my name is Wallace White. I'm the Associate State Director for AARP when it comes to advocacy and rural outreach. And as I was driving from Augusta, and I was telling JB earlier, I said, whether it was raining or not, I'm going to make sure I'm here, whether I had an umbrella or not. But I'm so honored to be here today, especially for joining us for our ribbon cutting for the spirit of Macon Park. It's just so amazing. AARP is pleased to announce there were 9 organizations for 2025 across Georgia that received the 2025 Community Challenge Grant. These grants take a part of $4.2 million of a national investment in 383 quick action projects designed to help people in need of all ages, particularly with attention to our older adults or our senior citizens. This funding, it helps supports improvements in public spaces, example today, transportation, housing, digital connection, and other critical areas. Since the inception 9 years ago, the Community Challenge Grant here in Georgia, because I want to specify these numbers from a national perspective, but also bring it back home to us. Here in Georgia, there was over 49 different grants that we were able to give over $550,000 for 49 different grants throughout Georgia. That right there itself is amazing, how Georgia continues to be on the trendsetter with that. Today we're here, though, to recognize one of the recipients, which is the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority. This project will transform a vacant lot, as we were here adjacent to a public transit, into the spirit of Macon Park, a space that enhances accessibility for older adults and provides wellness programs for the broader community. This initiative exemplifies the purpose for the Community Challenge Grant, and this is why we do it every year, creating a tangible, meaningful improvement that strengthens communities and fosters inclusion. On behalf of AARP, I extend congratulations to the Macon-Bibb Transit Authority and all of our partners involved in making this vision a reality today. Thank you for your commitment, for building a community that serves and supports residents of all ages. And finally, as I said before, with Macon being the first city that was considered an age-friendly city by AARP and World Health Organization, I congratulate you today. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Darius Maynard. I'm the Program Officer at Community Foundation in Central Georgia. And I'm honored to be here as we celebrate the ribbon cutting and opening of the Spirit of Macon Park. Moments like this, I'm going to let this truck pass by. Thank you, Mr. Truckman. Moments like this, we like to remind us of what's possible when the community invests in itself with creativity, collaboration, and a shared vision for a healthier, more vibrant Macon. This project is especially meaningful because it began with a conversation. During On the Table 2025, people across our community sat together. They shared ideas and imagined what Macon could be. And at one of those tables, the idea for this park's wellness component was born. That's the power of bringing people together. When voices are heard, ideas surface, and real change begins. Through our Conversation to Action mini grants, we're able to help turn those ideas into reality. And we are proud to award a $1,000 mini grant to support the wellness features here at the Spirit of Macon Park. It's a small investment that contributes to something much larger, a space where people can move, breathe, gather, and feel connected. What the Transit Authority has done here and built here is more than just a park. It is an invitation to step outside, to be active, to connect with neighbors, and to take pride in our community. And that's the Spirit of Macon. So on behalf of the board and staff of the Community Foundation of Central Georgia, Ms. Myrtle Havisham is here today, and I'm seeing others.
Thanks for being Ms. Myrtle.
I want to congratulate the Macon Transit Authority and all the partners who brought this vision to life. Thank you for listening to the community's voices, and thank you for showing how a simple conversation can lead to meaningful, lasting impact. We're grateful to be a part of this moment, and we can't wait to see this park bring people together for many years to come. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Jill Peavy. I'm the president of Jackson Springs Garden Club, and I'm here on behalf of the members of my club, but also the Federated Garden Clubs of Macon. You may not know, but Jackson Springs Garden Club has existed since 1947, and our overarching group, Federated, has been serving our community since 1934. One of our goals is to encourage civic beautification, and we agreed that the Spirit of Macon Park was the perfect place to contribute. You see, our club members had recently learned about the Daffodil Project, and if you're not familiar with it, it started in Atlanta, and it aspires to plant 1.5 million daffodils worldwide to remember the children who were lost in the Holocaust. So on a day much like today, a few weeks ago, my club members gathered here and we planted 250 of the most beautiful daffodil bulbs you've ever seen. We're thankful for the rain today, hoping that it will nourish the bulbs. Today, I'm also happy to share that our club members voted unanimously to adopt the park as our 2026 beautification project. I know you'll all agree with me that this once very dreary place, very dreary corner, will be alive with color and activity and will be a true example of the Spirit of Macon. And we're so happy that we had a small part in it. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. The Spirit of Macon Park is the culmination of a string of projects buoyed by a very generous grant from AARP and the hard work of a lot of people. I want to share with you this afternoon the story of this very special park. In 2017, former Mayor Robert Rickert appointed me to the Transit Authority, and my very first activity was attending a press conference right across the street for the 3 murals done by the Macon Arts Alliance. I thought they were so beautiful, and at the end of the press conference, I walked to the end of the street to get a better look. And when I got there, I saw 2 blank panels. So I went over to Jan Beeland, who was the president of the Arts Alliance, and I said, "What's up with the end of the street?" And she said, "We ran out of money." And I thought, oh, and I forgot about it. Fast forward 2 years to 2019, I became the Public Information Officer for the Transit Authority. And because the Transit Authority owns the terminal station, one of the first things I did was walk around the entire campus to get the lay of the land. And I landed right back in front of those 2 empty spaces. And for no good reason, I said to myself, I don't know how and I don't know when, but we're going to fill those spaces. Fast forward 2 years, 2021, and the Community Foundation of Central Georgia offered a downtown challenge 2.0 grant, and I applied, and we were lucky enough to get the grant. And as soon as I got the grant, I created a committee to find a muralist and to get the artwork. So I invited 2 people from the Arts Alliance, and then I stacked the deck with transit. I chose Andy Stroud, the man who runs the terminal station, Jeannie Wells, who's a dispatch supervisor, Stacy Wilson, who's a bus driver, and June Slaughter, who runs our paratransit. And as I told Aaron Buzza from Visit Macon that story, and he said, "You didn't gerrymander the process, you Jamie-mandered it." Guilty. I needn't have worried because unanimously everyone decided on Abraham Abebe's brilliant mural. Abraham Abebe is an Egyptian professor of graphic design at Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville. And look across, I always envisioned that as a wraparound mural, and that's what Abraham created. So as he was finishing that beautiful mural, he said to me one day, "You know, we really need to paint the tunnel." And so I said, "Yeah, I thought of that too." I said, "But we will never get permission from Norfolk Southern. They own it." And the more I thought about it, I thought, I gotta try. So I went into Craig and I said, "Can I approach Norfolk Southern?" And he said, "I'd like you to gather all the information and give it to Lee Brown, who's our CFO." He said, "Lee worked in state government before, and if anybody can get Norfolk Southern to say yes, it's Lee Brown." Gave Lee the information, and 4 months later, he walked into my office and said, "Norfolk Southern said yes." I was gobsmacked. I didn't think we had any chance for that. And I will tell you, if not for Lee Brown and the magic he wove with Norfolk Southern, we would have had one single mural and none of us would be here today. I promise you that that's true. So that was a pivotal decision. So Abraham finished the second mural. He called the first one The Spirit of Macon 1. He called the second one The Spirit of Macon 2. And as he was finishing, I saw that he was struggling. Because if you look over here, at that side of the mural, a tree was growing out. And in fact, where you're standing was an entire scary, dangerous forest. So I went back to Lee and I said, "Can we clear cut the forest?" And Lee said yes. So we clear cut the forest. And after we clear cut the forest, I was happy for about 5 minutes until I drove here and I said, "Ugh, now we're left with an ugly, vacant lot." So that's when I went to Craig and I said, "Can we build a park?" And he said, "Jamie, we are not in the park business." I said, "But if I can find the money, are we in the park business?" And Craig said yes. So I thought, okay, now that I got the yes, how am I going to pay for it? Months later, I get an email from AARP for a community challenge grant. And I thought, I don't have much of a chance of getting this, but I thought I've got to try. 3,450 organizations across the country applied for this grant, and AARP chose 383, and we were one of them. That was thrilling. So as soon as I knew I had that money, I knew I needed 3 key people. I knew I needed a great landscape architect, and I found one in Wimberley Treadwell. I knew I needed parks and beautification, and I had Michael Glisson. And I knew I needed someone in public works, and that was Rico Hughes. Please hold your applause. I want Rico and Wimberley and Michael to stand up. Hold your applause. And everyone who's here from Parks and Beautification, Public Works, and Facilities Management, raise your hand. Please raise your hand. You are looking at the heart of this project, the absolute heart of this project. This was impossible without these amazing people. I was with these guys and a couple gals every single day while they were creating the park. Except one day when I had to go to Augusta for a transit conference. But I said to them the first day, I said, I'm guessing you know we're building some kind of park, but do you know anything about this project? And they said no. And I said, well, let me tell you about it. And let me tell you why it's so special and it's going to be so important to this community in a dreary, previously dangerous area. And they listened. I told that story a couple weeks ago to Rob Riles with Facilities. And when I told him the story of sharing the story of the park, he said to me, and this is profound, you turned a work order into a mission. How beautiful and poetic is that? I just thought it was amazing. So as we were finishing the park, we knew that we had concerns on this street. For decades, the trucks that you see passing by would drive in this skinny little lane next to the corner, and they were destroying all the time the sidewalk and the storm drain. In fact, that's how I met Rico several years ago, and Michael, when I was preparing for those press conferences. The sidewalks were a mess, the area was a mess, and they came in. They have been our partners and friends since then. I just adore them. They're just the best of the best, and they show up. The same thing with Rob Riles. I stopped in his office a couple of weeks ago and I said, Rob, there are these scary looking poles sticking out of the ground. It can't be anything good. I said, can you send a couple of your guys over to cap them or do whatever you do, and then to take all those scary limbs off the trees? And he said yes. Within 1 hour they were here, and within 2 hours it was done. That's the kind of help you get in Macon-Bibb County when you ask. So now these 2 lanes are now 1 lane. We have a bike lane, and Wimberley suggested Scott Davis and Sons for striping. We're striped way back to the fire hydrant all along 5th Street. We have 4 new striped crosswalks, which is just beautiful. We have exercise has always been a part of my life every day. And I really wanted the same for people who are not so active. This park is not going to be a park with exercise classes for elite athletes. Quite the opposite. It's going to be a park that keeps seniors active, that keeps transit authority workers, especially our bus drivers, who have one of the hardest jobs imaginable, every day, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, keeping our passengers safe. I want them to have a place where they can walk before or after one of their shifts. I want our riders to walk right across the street. I call this the People's Park because we are the closest park to public transportation, and I think that's so important. So with that wellness grant, I knew immediately who I wanted to talk to. Miriam Langley, stand up a second. I want them to see you. Miriam is an instructor at Wesleyan College, with that cute ponytail, at Wesleyan College, and also teaches at the Wellness Center. And I said to her, I have this vision of this park where people are taking movement classes. You're talking about wellness and you're talking about nutrition. And then I found a Tai Chi instructor. I've had the privilege a couple times to go to Asia, and my husband Jimmy and I would jump into the street with seniors and other people in Beijing and Hong Kong and Shanghai and just pop into a Tai Chi class. That's what I envisioned for this park. I spoke to Robert Walker with Recreation, and he committed to being a part of this wellness program also. So Miriam is going to jumpstart it, and we're going to continue that. Let's see if I've missed anybody. I contacted Sheriff Davis and J.T. Ricketson with code enforcement, and I said, Sheriff, can you help us make this park a safe place? And he said, absolutely. I asked JT, and they said, absolutely. Again, that's the kind of help you get. So I envision this to be an active park. I see one of our board members, Rachel Lamont, in the back. I contacted Rachel and said, can we do some activities with Bike Walk Macon? And Rachel absolutely said yes. So there's so many ways that this little park, this mighty little pocket park, can benefit this community, and I hope that we're going to do so many things in the park that make everyone proud and make everyone active, because I think that's the name of the game. That sign was a collaboration with Fast Signs on Pinona. I had this vision for a sign that I had never seen. I wanted something beautiful and striking and elegant, and I wanted some little decorative thing, but I didn't want frou-frou and I didn't want parky. I wanted something. And she tweaked and had created this beautiful symbol. So I love that this sign says Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority. I love that it says the Spirit of Macon. I love that it says it was made possible by AARP. This park embodies the best of all of us, the best of our community. I'm so proud to be a little part of it, and I hope that you and your friends and family and everyone will take the opportunity to use it. So thank you so much for coming today. We will do photos. You've been contacted if you're in photos to come. If not, I encourage you not only to walk around the park, but I encourage you to go across the street and take a closer look at Abraham's two murals. And if you will cross over at the beginning of 5th Street, at the end of 5th Street there, you will see that everything that you saw today and see today started with a bus, a Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority bus. So thank you.
Photo time. Front row. If y'all don't mind meeting me up here. Whoa. It's just my ankle. Alright, all of my media. We have several group shots. We're going to do this one first, and then I'm going to have the commissioners jump in, and then I've got a different one. Stick around.
All right. Everyone just look at me. Or big smiles.
All right. We good?
Don't step away from everybody. Yes. Yes.
All right. Everyone right here,
That's
look
perfect.
at Olivia. All of you
All right.
media
Big
folks
smiles right here. Big smiles. And then on 3, we're going to cut the ribbon. All right. 1, 2, 3. Yes.